Hi, it's Ethnicgreenliving here, and I'm back once again for week 6 of the book Uninvited by Lisa Turquoise. Thank you for returning. If you are a returning friend, I appreciate it. And if you're new, check the description box to see videos 1 through 5. It says, people who care more about being right than ending right prove just how wrong they were all along. That was a nugget that went along with the nugget to end right and well, because it reminded me of a story. There was a lady who I just thought was an amazing person. She was able to get so much done while maintaining a really clean house and making some amazing meals. And I just thought, like, wow, this woman's really got it going on, and I could really learn some things from her, and she just seemed so amazing. And then I got to know her personally, and I was like, okay. It's a major character flaws. And I remember one day she cursed me out, and I cried because, I can be a little sensitive and I treat people so well, and I always think that people are going to treat me so well. And let me just tell you, people are not going to treat you well because you treat them well, or because you live a good life, or any of that stuff, okay? In fact, just because you live a good life, they're going to treat you not well. They're going to treat you bad, even the more so. So she cursed me out, and I said, you know what? That's okay. I said, I still think that you're so talented, and the things you can do are amazing. You just have some character flaws, and I'm going to pray for you. And to me, that was an opportunity to just bow down gracefully and say, you know what? I'm really sorry for what I said to you. Please forgive me. Instead, she cursed me out more. If you curse somebody out and they tell you they still think you're amazing or what you do is great, bow down gracefully and just say, you know what? I'm sorry. Or don't say anything at all. Definitely don't reply back with the cursing in the mouth. That speaks volumes of you. But I share that story because that really was it had an impact, it did. I just couldn't believe it in my mind. I couldn't understand, like, who would act like this, especially if you're of the same faith, or you say you're of the same faith. But, bitterness, resentment, and anger have no place in a heart as beautiful as yours. Wow. That's something to really just stop. Wowie, wowie, wowie. Bitterness, resentment, and anger have no place in a heart as beautiful as yours. Life can leave you feeling bitter, resentful, and angry fast, okay? My job and the lack of concern for me and my family has certainly left me bitter, if I would be honest with you. They come late. They don't pay on time. When they're off, they still want to bring their children, even though I have 5 children that I want to enjoy of my own. I have my own life, on a day that, like today, which is a holiday, I was up at 6:45, and the person didn't even show to close to 9 on a day that no one else showed up. And so there's just not a lot of understanding and compassion and just various things. And so I would say that my job had left me bitter. Situations with my husband had left me resentful because I felt he held me to a standard that he could not even keep himself. For an example, because my husband's a cleaning person. He used to be borderline OCD, I would always say. And he was, you should do it this way, and you should do it that way. And, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get it done. And you can get it done at this. And if I were doing this, and if I were you, I could blah, 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 blah. And when that time came that he could blah, 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 he didn't blah, 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 blah. And it left me resentful. Like, all these years, I tried so hard, and I felt less than because I couldn't do things the way that you wanted me to, or the way that you do them, or the way you suggested that I do it, or the way that you encouraged me and wanted me to do it. And now that you have that opportunity to show me and to kind of, what they say, walk it out. You can't walk it out. And so it left me resentful. And then there was a situation that just left me angry with a person because of all of his lies and just deceit and deception. And it was, if someone says, if you say, is the sky blue? And they say, no, the sky's not blue. And you go look at the sky and the sky's blue. You say, is the sky blue? No, it's not blue. You say, but I just looked at the sky. No, you didn't. And so just that person just through their, lying and just all those things, I felt myself getting angry, like, the sky is blue. I just looked outside. The sky is blue. You tell me it's red. I'm looking at the sky. It's blue. It's not red. No, it's red. I saw it. And so I'm saying those things to say none of that has a place in my heart. None of that has a place in a heart as beautiful as mine. And none of that has a place in a heart as beautiful as yours. Now, maybe you don't have that situation with that. You do have something. That's for sure. Okay? Your story is not my story, but I assure you, I know for a fact, you have your story. You have your issues that have left you in situations that have left you feeling bitter, resentful, and angry. And I'm telling you tonight, it has no place in your heart. It has no place in my heart. And I just had to say, God, take it. I don't want it. I don't need it. I just want you. Okay? I want to be pleasing to you. And I've got to let that go. And so tonight, I just want to encourage you to give it to God, give it to Jesus, and just say, I don't want it. I've got to let it go. Because that type of thing will eat away at you, and it will slowly kill you. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. We want life and not death. So I want to read something to you. Did you guys like it when I read to you a little bit last week? Because again, I know everybody doesn't have the book, and there's really some good nuggets in here. Ephesians 6:12 seems to fit. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Before we go any further, let me clearly state a few of my feelings. I very much feel like my struggle is against her. I have been deeply hurt by this struggle. It's hard to see that my struggle isn't with her or caused by her. Those are my feelings. But truth seems to want me to help me get to a better place. Truth says, I have an enemy, but it's not really her. She may very well be the cause of some hurt in my life, but she is not my enemy. So let me stop right there. So my business is not my enemy. That person who just keeps on lying in my life to me is not my enemy. And my spouse is not my enemy. My children, not my enemy. My family, not my enemy. My friends, not my enemy. And I may very well be the cause of some hurt in her life, but I am not her enemy. We have an enemy, and it's not each other. Is any of this easy? No, not at all. It's very hard, but it's good for my soul to get to this place. It keeps me in a place of acknowledging God as God. It's saying, I don't know all the details entangled in this issue, but you know all. Therefore, you, God, are the only one who can handle it all. There are a lot of things my flesh is tempted to seek. Fairness, my right to be right, proof of her wrongdoing, to make her see the things from my vantage point. But at this point, the only thing that's healthy for me is to seek you. You alone, God, are the only one who can handle all. There are a lot of things that my flesh is tempted to seek. But at this point, the only thing healthy for me is to seek you, you alone. I'm going to be obedient to you and let you handle everything else. My God, is that, it brings me to the point of tears, because it's like, the only thing healthy for me to do is to seek you. This is what it looks like to rise above the circumstances and determined to hold on to the greater good and the grand scheme of things, honoring God. Do we want to honor God in our lives? Do we want to honor Him? Or do we want to prove that we're right? That lady hurt me. She cursed me out and I didn't do anything to her. Why did she curse me out? Even when I gave her that opportunity to bow down gracefully, she retaliated with cursing at me again. Why? That person that keeps lying. Why? when people just say these things and they do these things and sometimes they don't mean to and sometimes they purposely try to hurt you. Why? 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 I don't have the answer. And I don't think you do either. But let us remember what our job is to do. It's to be obedient to God. And God's job is to do everything else. How many times do we try to do God's job? But that's not our place and that's not our job. All we have to do is be obedient. We must speak with honor in the midst of being dishonored. You know, I'm going to stop here because I don't want to hold back. I want to be completely transparent so God can help me and he can help you. You know what? Some people really have some issues. And so we're not playing. This thing is serious and this thing is real. We really need a Jesus to help our situations. But we must speak with honor in the midst of being dishonored. We must speak with peace in the midst of being threatened. We must speak good things in the midst of a bad situation. We must be obedient to trust and believe God and let him boss around our contrary feelings. Remember how we've talked about living loved and bringing the fullness of God into our situation? This is it. And it really is the only way to get to a place where we can have peace in a situation that doesn't have a storybook ending. She said, so I fight for her. Not because we will reconnect. We haven't, and we might not. Not because she's right. Not because I'm right. I fight for her simply because I want to stay right in step with honoring God. Oh, man. Guys, this week, I'm telling you, this is something else. You know, I want to ask you guys a few questions. I want to know, what areas of your life do you have bitterness, resentful feelings, and anger? I want you to write it down. You guys know I have a notebook just for this book. Do we remember who our fight is against is our second question. I read it in the book, but it's Ephesians 6 and 12 in case you didn't know. I want you to ponder and reflect that our job is to be obedient to God, and God's job is everything else. It's not our job to prove our innocence or to prove this or that. And when you go and read the book, you'll see that, you know, she had proof. It doesn't matter about your proof. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter how right you are. And trust me, I've been in a situation where I was completely right. I had evidence. I had proof. But would God have gotten the honor in that? It's all about God getting the honor, and that's so hard. Oh, see, we can talk it. It sounds so great, but when you've got to walk that thing, it's so different. It's a hard life to live this kind of way, but I'm telling you, it will pay off, and payday will come after a while. Your assignment is to reflect 3 people who have hurt you the most and to write 2 ways you can fight for them. 3 people who've hurt you the most, 2 ways you can fight for them. All right. I want you guys to live loved, and until the next time, blessings.